Ladies and gentlemen, class is back in session because, yes, Brat Said That, episode 79 is here. I am your host, your teacher, your principal, Mr. Brat Jackson, along with my assistant principal, Chad LGBT. We're back, and if you haven't noticed the theme, it is back to school. Yes, a little different than growing up on the East Coast. We used to go back to school at the end of after Labor Day, but the kids here, they do school in August. That's weird to me, but hey, we live on the western side of the United States, so kids, welcome back to school. Seniors, this is your last chance to really lock on in, seniors, to get your colleges. Freshmen, I know it's very scary out there. It's a new environment. Sophomore and juniors go somewhere else. But hey, class is in session. Welcome back. Welcome to school. We got so much to talk about. We need to talk about Raw, SmackDown. We got to talk about all this drama. This drama with paying your dues. Like freshmen, you got to pay your dues if you want to graduate. We have all this stuff to talk about. MMA we missed this week. We got a huge fight at the Saturday. We got to talk about the NFL. We got to talk about so much. So let's wait for the school bell to ring and get started with our first class is... Oh, that was lame. I thought it'd be more impactful. Let's talk about SmackDown, everybody. SmackDown, it was a good SmackDown. I got to watch it because I was off, and I like watching SmackDown when I'm off. SmackDown, a little bit of sad news. Our undisputed women's world champion, Chelsea Green, she broke her orbital bone. That's somewhere in your face, and I don't know what's going to happen with her, but just when she got on top of the mountain and she was the interim, we don't talk about interim titles here, just as she was going to be the face that runs the place on SmackDown, she gets injured, so we're going to have to see what happens with her. I am looking so forward to CM Punk versus Kevin Owens. What a dream match it has been. What a dream it's just to see those two, Kevin Owens, CM Punk. We haven't seen him since Punk has returned, and Kevin Owens is now back, better than ever, and I think he is going to be your new WWE champion. So they are going to fight for the title in Toronto on a SmackDown. I think it's in a couple weeks, maybe next week or so. I don't know. I don't have the official I don't have the official date in front of me. I'm trying to. There you go. SmackDown. Let's see. Let's talk about SmackDown. Let's talk about the results. Let's talk about what happened. Alexa Bliss, she came out and helped Charlotte defeat Jade Cargill. Also, the debut of Tatum Paxley. We haven't really talked about Tatum Paxley on the show too much, but she's like that creepy chick like Alexa Bliss. She looks like one of Alexa Bliss's dolls coming to life. So it'll be good to see what they're doing together. Plus, they're going after the, That's a good tag team to have. Good tag team to have. Cody and CM Punk, they had their feud together. We're going to see those two face off for the next ever until one of them retires. And then Kevin Owens came out, faced off with CM Punk. A lot of harsh words were said. Baron Corbin, the new United States champion, defeated Trick Williams to retain that fuzzy belt. Then, as Corbin was kind of celebrating his win, out comes Carmelo Hayes, and Carmelo beat down Corbin and said, hey, you're going to defend that title in my hometown next week on SmackDown. So next week on Friday, we got Baron Corbin defending the United States Championship against Carmelo Hayes. I don't see Corbin losing it. And so, that chase for Corbin's belt is still in good hands. Fatal Influence, like we said, they defeated Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton. I kind of like this... they're eventually going to turn on each other, Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton. But Fatal Influence, I really want to get into them because they're the new face on SmackDown. Fallon Henry we didn't know too much of. Laney Reed we don't know much of. We know Jacy Jane, who was the former NXT Women's Champion. So she's got that good faction going. Of course, Chelsea Green is our favorite women's wrestler, one of our favorite wrestlers, period, no matter what gender you are. And Tiffany Stratton, it's Tiffy time, and Tiffany is the United States champion, and Chelsea, hopefully, she heals up and can continue being the women's champion, because We don't like to say that word here, but she definitely 100% deserves that belt. Oh boy. Cody Rhodes did confront Randy Orton. That feud is going to go on to maybe Orton's retirement feud at WrestleMania. I know we just saw that this year at WrestleMania, so maybe not at that next year's WrestleMania. But who knows? There's so much to go before we talk about WrestleMania. We still got Survivor Series and Rumble that we're going to try to go to. But yes, Randy Orton is back. He slithered his way in, cost Cody Rhodes a WWE Championship match. And I can always love seeing Cody versus Orton forever. We talked about Charlotte and Jane with the help of Liv and Tatum Paxley. So that was pretty much SmackDown. Not too much. Damian Priest and R-Truth are still the tag team champions. They're going after, or they're being attacked by War Machine, War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. So that, whatever that eventually is going to be. Nikki Bella explains why she attacked Paige. Well, because that's what they do. They attack each other. Ricky Saints confronts Ray Phoenix. And I think Ray Phoenix is going to take on Ricky Saints for the AAA Cruiserweight Championship on SmackDown. What a match that's going to be. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going at it one-on-one. Obviously, in the future, I think Sami wins the Money in the Bank. Kevin wins the WWE Championship. Sami cashes in on Kevin. There you go. You can have Kevin win the Rumble, or you can go another way, but those two are going to eventually have their one-on-one match at WrestleMania. And by the way, we haven't even talked about this, because we missed this a couple weeks ago. Haku is back. Haku is back with the MFTs. I think that's like his adopted son or something, but one of the toughest wrestlers ever from the backstage. I would not want to mess with Haku. I've learned two things. You don't mess with Samoans. And the second one is always have a backup when you can't pick a second thing that you can't think of. But Haku is back. That's good. I love seeing past superstars, look at me, superstars, past wrestlers coming back and just, even as a managerial role. What a great role that is for Haku, and good to see him back. So yeah, Brie Bella is hurt too. She got injured on SummerSlam. Chelsea Green got injured. Also, so sad. Rhea Ripley, seeing her and all bandaged up with that MCL, ACL. Dang. Why did my TV turn off? Sir, why did my TV turn off? We have to stay in school because I forgot to. I paused it. Play it, dummy. Yeah. I can't wait to talk about Raw. Just ended right there. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. A little bit of funny fan video. Fan posted a video claiming Jey Uso reacted coldly, which means Tony Schiavone, while he recounted taking his child to see him wrestle last year, even calling Jey cold and praising Roman Reigns. Acknowledge your tribal chief. Jey responded via the Usos account, laughing off the compliment with, "Y'all run straight to the internet after LAMFS. Laughing at my funky shorts. LAMFS. Laughing at moist figurines." What the fuck? I don't know what that means. The exchange fueled talks on fan boundaries while meeting fan wrestlers' needs for space in public spots like airports, especially after Jey previously shared frustrations about unwanted touching from strangers. Well, you don't touch people. If you don't know them and you don't got to consent, don't touch people. I'll tell you one story. There was a guy that used to come to Smith's that I worked, and he used to always pat me on the back every time he walked by me. "Hey, buddy." And I hated that shit. Please, don't touch me. But I am a hugger, so if you want to give me a hug, give me a hug. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, is already advertised for a Survivor Series. We know that will happen in Houston, Texas. Sorry, anytime I think of Houston, I think of the Astros, and I choke up a little bit. WWE is advertising the World Heavyweight Champion for this year's Survivor Series. Raw is heading to Dublin. Yes, we just saw it today on Raw. They're going to Dublin. They're going to Hungary. They're going to Ireland. They're going everywhere. Well, Dublin is in Ireland. They're going all over the European since they're going to be in Saudi for the Rumble. Right? No, what am I talking about? Wait. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's the theme of this show. Anyway, Dublin for January 20th, 2027 at 3 Arena with Becky Lynch and Finn Balor helping announce it, of course. Shout out to Jim Ross. He's got a brain surgery scheduled. JR revealed that he is scheduled to undergo brain surgery on Wednesday, August 12th. So our thoughts on him in Norman, Oklahoma. Definitely a serious story worth mentioning. JR, voice of our childhood, no matter how much, he hasn't been around WWE. The Attitude Era, his voice, along with Jerry the King Lawler, kind of just cemented. Listen, I've listened to Jim Ross's voice more than I've ever seen him. Because growing up, if you didn't order the pay-per-view, you watched it scrambled. And I just listened to Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. Prayers to him. Brain surgery is it's brain surgery. You got to be a brain surgeon to do it. MJF returned to AEW Grand Slam Mexico. So, yeah, this is the thing. MJF, I watch AEW. But he's coming out saying he's the world's champion. He's got the BBB, the Triple B belt. And why? He lost cleanly. He's no longer the AEW champion. Give me $1. Like Kenny Omega is an AEW champion. I'd say, give me $1 and I'll tell you the AEW champion is. And I forgot, but now I remembered. But, I don't know why they're doing that storyline again. They did it with CM Punk, who had a case for it. But, I don't know. Speaking about champions, the real World Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns' next contender is set. It's got to be set because we got a tournament, a Lucha Door tournament. Yes, Penta versus Laredo Kid, Psycho Clown versus La Parker, Dragon Lee versus El Hijo de Dr. Ragnar Jr., which means the son of Dr. Ragnar Jr., Rey Fenix and El Fiscal will all fight in a tournament, with the winner facing Roman Reigns on Raw in Mexico City. Let's be honest, Penta's up there, Phoenix is down here, but the finals are going to be brother versus brother, and I see Penta defeating Rey Fenix and taking on Roman Reigns. We laughed at this at work, and I'm like, I want to see Roman Reigns take a Mexican destroyer. I would love to see that. So hopefully Penta versus Roman is going to be a great match. I don't see any other person in this tournament really moving on. I don't. It's going to be Rey versus Penta in the finals. But we will talk Raw tonight. Raw just happened. Raw just ended. And it was a good Raw. It definitely hosted, going towards next week. It's kind of a filler. But I don't know where to start with. Penta did take on Laredo Kid in the tournament to determine who would challenge Roman Reigns. Penta obviously won and moved on. Listen, Bron Breakker, though, is having a really hard time because Bron Breakker is just asking anybody, is Oba Femi the future? Not as that way, but more scary. But yeah, Oba and Bron had a face-off. I am so excited. And then, out comes Adam Pearce and the TNA X Division and called him back and said, hey, we're not doing this tonight. We're going to do this for the next 10 years because we know Oba and Bron are going to fight each other in just the future, and I'm so excited for that. Becky Lynch came out after Stephanie Vasquez came out, and Stephanie Vasquez is ready to become champion again. She's looking mighty fine in the sense of she is ready to take over the Judgment Day, take out Liv, take out Roxanne, and take out Raquel. And Becky Lynch is like, that's cool, you can do it. I'll sit there, I'll watch, and I'll eat popcorn. But when that title's around your waist, I'm coming for it. So that division's good too. That women's division is always kind of up in the air. But you got Liv, you got Stephanie, you got Io Sky, you got Becky. So the next, couple title reigns of the women's champion are really going to be set in stone. Soroka did come out with the mystery partner. I don't know why it was such a mystery partner. It was Io Sky. Io Sky could have been like, I'm just going to team with Soroka, and they're going to take on Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Don't know why it was a surprise. Almost was Danhausen. Danhausen's like, hey, Soroka, I'll be your tag team partner. Give me some human monies. But no, it was Io Sky, and Io Sky, those two had a great match with Raquel and Roxanne. A lot of R's. But honestly, I don't know. Akira Cesaro came out. Listen, I'm done with this Austin Theory and this Maxine Dupree, or if she's Maxine still, with no last name. They're trying to be like, oh, look at me, kissy. I don't believe it in a second. I don't believe them to any romantic awkwardness. It's not working. Stop it. But, Braun, that did come out, speared Akira. Then that's Obi coming out. Then we had Dominic Mysterio was like, hey, Dad, you're the Triple A general manager, and I'm not even in this tournament to face Roman Reigns. And then Ray's like, oh, I should have ordered you. No, he didn't really say that. He said, well, you know what, then why don't you take on Dragon Lee right now? And Dom was like, well, I'm the greatest Mysterio of all time. I'll go do it. And he did it. And he lost. So, I don't know, or he won. I don't remember. But obviously, listen, this Triple A September card is going to be great. Because, spoilers, Chad Gable did say, I'm going to defend this Intercontinental Championship against you, Rey Mysterio. I would hope they do that at the Triple A Triple Mania. Dominic obviously will face on El Grande Americano for the Triple A Mega Champion. And, we got some good belts and good matches coming out. I would love to go there September 11th. Other than that, I don't think anything else happened on Raw that we should really talk about. Oh, obviously, the big main event. Brother versus brother. Jacob fought 2. Is not part of that match. Jey Uso, a lot of different Samoans. Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa fought off. And then the title of Solo being on the Bloodline was up in the... what am I talking about? This Bloodline's been going on for 6 years and it gets me confused. So, Solo lost. So now Jey and Jimmy are like, well, you're going to be part of the Bloodline now. So next week, the Usos are bringing Solo to Roman, and Roman's going to put him back in the Bloodline. And then that's what I think we're going to see the debut of Zilla. Zilla, yes, this Bloodline runs deep. They don't call it the Bloodline but Zilla, he said his goodbyes at Hog pretty much this weekend, so he will be WWE bound. I don't like that it's just, them and, we got, Raw and SmackDown, and then we don't have Money in the Bank till October. We have Sunday night's main event, which you could have just called it Sunday Night Heat, would have been so much cooler. And coming up later next month, and then we have AAA, non-pay-per-views going on, PLEs. But other than that, really, I don't understand it. But the bracket's cool. I'm looking forward to Penta versus Roman. But here is what we have to talk about. The big chatter online is about Eric Cannon and Avery Styles and not paying your dues. So, Eric Cannon, he's been a wrestler forever. Independent, never really made it to the top of the top, but still, he paid his dues. He's a wrestler. He's a wrestler. He's done all the miles. He's paid his dues. Avery Styles, the son of the phenomenal AJ Styles. Couple matches underneath his belt. Avery was on a GCW show. And Eric, I want to say his name pronounced right. Eric Cannon said, hey, this kid needs to pay his dues. He needs to help fold the chairs. He needs to take down the ring. Listen, so here, this is from my co-host, Charlie T. Yes, this Eric Cannon versus Avery Styles thing is basically a full-blown out pay your dues wrestling argument, and AJ Styles jumping in made it way bigger. Obviously, he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Here's what happened. Cannon criticized 19-year-old Avery Styles, AJ Styles' son, after a recent GCW appearance. Cannon says he watched Avery avoid helping with the work around the show. His basic argument was if Avery wants to become his own wrestler rather than simply being known as AJ's kid, he needs to unglamorously stuff young indies wrestlers traditionally do. Obviously, it's you got to show up early, you got to take down the ring, you got to set up the ring, you got to shake hands, you got to, I had to go to Walmart and grab 6 cases of water. You had to, I had to help build a freaking ramp. That's what you do. Then AJ basically said, hold the heck up. AJ's position was Avery was booked and paid to wrestle for GCW, not to be part of the ring crew. He also criticized Cannon for blasting a 19-year-old publicly instead of pulling him aside and talking to him like a veteran. That's just a dad talk. And that's where Cannon escalated it. He claimed Avery was actually asked twice. Okay, I did not know this. Asked twice by GCW personnel to help put away chairs, but instead stayed in the locker room until the work was finished. If Cannon's account is accurate, that changes the argument somewhat. There's a difference between nobody asked him and veterans expected him to volunteer versus the promotion specifically asked him to help and he refused. That second claim is Cannon's version of events, though not something I'll treat as independently established fact. Then there's wrestlers that started taking sides. Moose basically thinks the entire indie wrestling pay your dues mentality is outdated. His argument was that this isn't a major television company. Avery was booked for an indie appearance, so making a giant issue out of whether he stacked chairs is ridiculous. Help out. Okay. Lexus King probably gave the most interesting perspective because he is Brian Pillman's son, obviously. He said second-generation wrestlers simply have a different path. Promoters treated him differently too, including flying him in and having everything ready when he arrived. He eventually learned the behind-the-scenes work in NXT and appreciated it, but his larger point was essentially teach Avery rather than publicly embarrassing him. And that's really the interesting part. What does paying your dues even mean in 2026? Obviously, like I said, it means setting up the ring, tearing down the ring, putting out the coats, the chairs, helping out, sweeping after the match. You sweep up. You find. You always want to find the building that you're running in the same way when you got there. Okay. I literally set up a ring, and then the show was 4 hours later, and I just slept underneath the ring. It was actually a very comfortable ring. But Avery isn't entering wrestling anonymously. He's AJ Styles' son. A promoter booking Avery Styles shows exactly why they're booking him. His name attracts attention before he's accomplished anything himself. The nepotism in the literal sense, but it's also about just wrestling. Second-generation wrestlers have received opportunities because of their names forever. And he really has Avery Styles. Ever since I've seen him, he uses his dad's theme song, his entrance, his gear. So I think he needs to, move on from that. Should Avery help? Absolutely. If you're just entering this business and you're not even 6 matches in, you help. I know your dad's AJ Styles. Your dad is, no pun intended, phenomenal. But you're not, You're just a kid trying to make it into this world. And I just think you should help. You should just do what you're told. And, obviously there's going to be benefits of you being AJ Styles' son, but you still got to pay your dues. Even if you're like, hey, AJ Styles, Avery Styles' son, we're going to come book you for a show, obviously help out. Should Eric Cannon have publicly called him out? I think so. I think in this world, you kind of, broadcast your grievances on the internet. Is paying your dues still necessary in professional wrestling? Absolutely. You got to pay your dues. I remember my first day of wrestling training. I shook somebody's hand hard, and I got called out on it. I think it's fucking stupid. But hey, you got to make these dumb mistakes. Like when we worked for Ring of Honor, we did the streamers, we did security, we did the ticket taking, we did all this stuff. You just pay your dues. It's nothing personal. That's just how wrestling is, and that's how wrestling is always going to be. So, Avery Styles, pay your dues. It's good to have AJ Styles as a dad. It's a lot easier to end up on home plate when you start on third base, but pay your dues. Just pay your dues. Speaking about somebody that's been paying their dues, wow, what a UFC it was last Saturday on the Apex. Another huge win for Kaylin Scallon. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row after coming off the Contender Series with a huge first-round submission of Mattress Gamrot. Wow, that just propels him into the upper top 5 of the UFC lightweight rankings. Right now he's number 6, but, that will change. Yeah, I don't think a fight like that should have ended up in the Apex, but they have the Apex for a reason, and that, unfortunately, was the main event. Not saying that was unfortunately the main event. I'm saying, unfortunately, the main event was something that big in a small venue. Carlos Diego Ferreira, the lightweight, defeated Billy Quantillo by decision. Darren Elkins, 35 seconds into the first round, lost his retirement fight. But like I said, this guy, Darren Elkins, we talked about guys like this, like Matt Brown and stuff, like Jim Miller. Or the fighters, man. Might have never made it to, the title shot. But if you look at the guys he's fought, Darren Elkins, Charles Oliveira, Chad Mendes, Jeremy Stevens, freaking Dennis Bermudez, Michael Johnson, Volkanovski, Ricardo Lamas, Brian Hall, Cub Swanson, just these fighters, and he just always fought. So he just didn't announce that he would retire, so that is his retirement fight. Thank you for your service, Darren Elkins. You were just a fighter's fight. But next week, not this week, this Saturday, we do have a huge fight coming up for the UFC Welterweight Championship. Islam Makhachev is taking on Ian Machado Gary. I'm not going to make any picks, and I know, I'm not going to make any picks right now. We're going to talk about that on Friday's show. I know anything happens in the UFC. I've watched the biggest underdog stories end up. I don't see Ian Gary winning this fight. I don't. I think Makhachev is way too tough. I think it's going to be just a beatdown by Makhachev on Gary. Mackenzie Dern is defending her women's strawweight championship against Shirley Robinson. That's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to that fight ending up on the ground and just seeing what their submissions do. Edson Barboza is also on the card. Jalen Turner, Vicente Luque, Neil Magny. So, I think there's one card missing on the main card. I don't know what changed. Chao Borrell and Joe Pfeiffer were going to fight, but, that's going to be a good card in Philadelphia. So we'll give our predictions on Friday, but I don't see Makhachev losing this fight. I see Ian Gary just winning. I see Ian Gary losing, Makhachev winning. But I do want to talk about this. Returning for, I don't remember, the 10th season, Dana White's Contender Series is back, and I kind of want to look at the Contender Series because this is Dana White's baby, He had Tough, and he's like, I don't like Tough, and then he's had the Contender Series, and I kind of just want to look at the people we know that have come off the Contender Series. Most famously, I think in the first season, Sean O'Malley, but guys like Alex Perez, who is a title challenger, Matt Favola, who's always fun. Second season, Greg Hardy, even though he didn't make it to the UFC and he's getting knocked out. Anthony Hernandez, Ryan Swan, Antonia Shevchenko, the sister of Valentina, Edmund Shabazian, Macy Barber. Let's see, who else? The third season, we got Miles John, who just fought, O'Day Osborne, Brendan Allen, Jamal Hill, who's a champion, Herbert Burns, Philip Rowe. Trying to think if there's a quicker way instead of just going through all the guys that have moved on. Dustin Jacoby, Jordan Levitt, one of the coolest dudes ever. He came off the Contender Series. Let's see, Philip Haas. Carlos Ulberg, the UFC light heavyweight champion, came off of Dana White's Contender Series. Natan Levy, he's awesome too. Armin Petrosian, he's looking good. Michael Morales, who's been Jack Della Maddalena, another champion of that Contender Series. Joe Pfeiffer, who we just talked about. Waldo Cortez Acosta. So, these names are a good way. Mauricio Ruffy, who's been making a name for himself in the lightweight division, has been showing huge promise. Lerone Kavanaugh, Peyton Talbert. Just these guys have come off this show, and, that is really good for them. Josh Hokic, not everybody's favorite, especially not mine. So good for Dana. I don't really watch this stuff, but I think we should. I think we should keep tabs because we don't watch The Ultimate Fighter. I have not watched The Ultimate Fighter, but it premieres tomorrow, and we'll talk about it on Friday's show. Big heavyweight fight ending the main event. So, good for Dana White. We're going to talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're going to talk about Jason Mizorowski notching a 200 strikeouts already against the Twins. Wow, Jacob Mizorowski, Cy Young Award winner. Just give it to him. There's no debate. Jacob Mizorowski unleashed a four-steamer to Twins. 101.7 miles an hour velocity. Absolutely amazing. He's just absolutely phenomenal. Brewers doing pretty good. Does have to work on the nickname, though. There already is the Miz. I know they had a little back and forth on one of those shows, but Mizorowski, you can't go by the Miz because Mike Mizanin already has that title. But you're doing great. You're on Brat Said That, our fantasy team. We're now 4 in a row. First in our division, so good for us. A little good news, though, for the Athletics, who have not been doing good at all. I'm looking forward to them coming to Vegas in a few years. Jacob Wilson sets an MLB record. Anytime we set records, we talk about it on the show because we love records and we love record breaking. He set an MLB record of, if my internet will work, I will tell you. I think he doesn't make any errors. This is like his 111th game with no errors. So, unlike Taylor Swift, this is not an errors tour. Lame. But yeah, good for them. We did look at the MLB standings. Nothing really changes. I know the White Sox are pulling out in first place. The lead behind them is getting deeper and deeper. So I think we're up to the 4.5 of the Twins now. And we'll just look at the standings real quick. My internet's shitting. The Rays, though, 5.5 games above first place. What happened to the Yankees? Collapse. Oh my God, a collapse in the Yankees. 5.5 games out of first place. White Sox up 3.5 games. Still got the Twins, Tigers, and Guardians at our ankles, but we're doing great. Astros and the Rangers battling for it. Rangers trying to look good, trying to get back to the playoffs after winning the World Series. Braves pretty much got that division down. Phillies, 7.5 games out of first. Like we said, Brewers and Mizorowski, they're up 5.5 games. The Cubs and the Dodgers are, even if they're lost 2 out of 8 of the last 10, are still 7.5 games out of first place, or in first place. So, really, that's it for baseball. Moving on. Arizona Cardinals, who have not had a historically good franchise. A retiring Hall of Fame wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald is number 11. Long time overdue. Good for them. I love when, things are retired. I'm going to retire to bed soon. No, I'm not. But yeah, I like when teams retire jerseys. I think the Yankees are just... I don't think any Yankees season... what am I trying to say? I'm trying to do two things at once. The Yankees at Monument Park, they got the first 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I think 10 retired. So that'd be good for the Cardinals, give them a little something good. But let's be serious right now. Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Kirk Cousins and defensive end Max Crosby engage in a tense training camp scuffle after Crosby twice hit Cousins' arm. Incensed by the contact, Cousins charged and grabbed Crosby's jersey before teammates intervene. So let me tell you, Max and Kirk, come in the principal's office, please. Stop it. Stop it. No, stop it. Stop it. Okay? This is not a good representation of what the Raiders are. Actually, that's a perfect representation of what the Raiders are. But don't do it in front of Fernando. Okay? That pure soul is going to take us to the promised land. The funny part is this wasn't really Crosby trying to fight Cousins out of nowhere. Crosby was apparently playing with his usual every rep is a Super Bowl intensity and had already been warned about making contact with quarterbacks. Don't hit the guys in the red. Okay? Red jerseys, don't hit them. It's from the greatest football movie of all time. Calling a fight is slightly dramatic. It was more of a heated training camp scuffle confrontation than Max and Kirk throwing hands. Good, I don't need any of those two getting injured before the season starts. Don't do that. No fighting. No fighting. No, Peaky Blinders said, no fighting. No fighting. A little bit of sad news. I always say a little bit of sad news. Of course, when somebody does, a lot of sad news. Sad news, though, for us Mavericks fan. Don Nelson, second winningest coach in NBA history, died at 86. Basketball Hall of Famer, died Sunday. On Sunday morning, our beloved husband, dad, grandfather, and great-grandfather, Don Nelson, peacefully went to be with the Lord, surrounded by his loving family. In 31 seasons as an NBA head coach with the Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks, and Dallas Mavericks, Nelson finished with a regular season record of 1,335, and that's a lot of wins. He retired with the most coaching wins ever, a mark that was broken by San Antonio Spurs' Greg Popovich in March 2022. Nelson made 18 playoff appearances as coach, finishing with a 75-91 postseason record. Dirk Nowitzki posted on Twitter, Nelly, you didn't just draft me. You believed in me. You saw things in my game before I ever realized I could do them. I've said it a million times, and I will always say it. I don't think my career could have turned out it did without you being my first coach and give me... Read more. Freedom to play my game. I can only say thank you for everything, Rip Legend. So yes, as a Mavericks fan, that hits home. So rest in peace to Don Nelson, and thoughts and prayers to his family. Also, too, we talked about Grizzlies' Brandon Clark passing away, I think last month. Cause of death, died from an accidental overdose of heroin and cocaine. Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark, 29, was found unresponsive in his Los Angeles home on May 11th and pronounced dead at the scene by paramedics. The Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner ruled his death as accidental overdose, citing the effects of heroin and cocaine as its official cause. Don't do drugs. That's just sad, man. He had a promise career. James Harden, misdemeanor gun charge dismissed by Texas judge. A lot of craziness going on in basketball right now in the offseason. So, yeah, James Harden, he can shoot on the court, but he can't shoot off the court. That's what the judge said. That's really all the NBA news I have. Pittsburgh Penguins made a significant investment in their future on Thursday, signing forward Vela Crosby to an 8-year contract worth $4 million annually. So good for him. I like the Penguins, so we talk about them. But this is where things are going to get really kind of weird. Enes Kanter Freedom, a former basketball player, never really amounted to stardom. She is going to be entering the WNBA draft in 2027. I don't know why. I think this whole thing is a charade. Like, obviously, we know men and women's sports, women and men's sports. That's a topic we don't like to talk about. But when you bring something like that to the forefront, we're gonna talk about it. He filed for the 2027 WNBA draft. Submitted a letter of paperwork on August 10th declaring for the draft. Multiple outlets reported the filing today, but this isn't a legitimate attempt at a basketball comeback. In a normal sense, it's a political protest stunt aimed at the debate over transgender eligibility in women's sports. Freedom has publicly framed his declaration as a challenge to the WNBA's eligibility rules. Former NBA player Royce White has announced a similar effort. And this is an important distinction from the summary you saw. Submitting paperwork does not mean the WNBA has ruled him eligible in the draft. That's just weird. I don't know. I just think it's silly. What are you doing? What are you doing? I know the whole, declared for the draft, but he hasn't played professional basketball since 2022. You're not declaring for the draft. You're declaring for attention, really. So, Bratwurst Award goes to you with the first pick in the August 10th, 2026 Bratwurst Award giving outer. The Brat Said That selects Enes Kanter Freedom for just... Sorry, nobody's going to pick you. I get what you're doing, but why are you doing it? It's just weird. But hey, like you said, we are back to school and we do love movies, so why not end this show with a discussion on the top high school movies of all time. Yes, the 50 best high school movies of all time for every move of every genre. This is from EW.com, Entertainment Weekly. A lot of these movies you've probably heard of. A lot of these movies I don't hire of. We're going to just talk about the 50, because I like 50. It's a good round number, and 50 Cent. Number 50, Splendor in the Grass, 1961. Never heard of that one. Obviously, this one I've heard of. 49, 10 Things I Hate About You, 1999. You got Heath, Gretel Heath. You got Julia Stiles. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Just One of the Guys, 1985. Looks like that's, I never heard of this movie, but it's an 80s movie. Napoleon Dynamite. We all see Napoleon Dynamite. Vote for Pedro. John Hader. Napoleon Dynamite took over the world back in 2004. Flirting, 1992. Nicole Kidman movie. I've never seen it. My Bodyguard, 1980. I have seen this movie. Matt Dillon. Yes, I have seen this movie. 44, Can't Hardly Wait, 1998. Jennifer Love Hewitt, who's been in like every 90s movie. You know. I don't think I've seen that movie. Stand and Deliver, 1988. Edward James Olmos. He was in Mayans MC. Lou Diamond Phillips. Kind of like a good, East LA movie. Let's see. Fame, 1980. Looks like it's mostly jumping around. The GOAT, Matt Jackson. How you doing? Sean, welcome back. Ever since I'm now in the lovely state of Vegas, school has started. I know back in the day we didn't start school on the East Coast until after Labor Day, but school starts already. We're talking about the best high school movies of all time. We're up to 41. Can't Buy Me Love. I've heard of that. Patrick Dempsey. What a handsome man. I know the Karate Kid really should be higher on this list. Number 40. Ralph Macchio. Mr. Miyagi. Wax On, Wax Off. Amazing movies. The sequels. Cobra Kai. I was going to say, when did I miss school? Yeah, I know. It doesn't start here for another month. I mean, for here it starts already. The kids are back to school. But for us, for you guys, you know how it was. I always found it funny that you lived directly across the street from our school district. Like, Idris was across the street, and the boundary of the school district was across the street, and you went to another school. I always thought that was weird. The Virgin Suicides, I seen. That is a crazy movie. You got Kirsten Dunst and 3 other chicks. Amazing movie. Newfield, yeah, you went to Newfield. We went to Longwood. I don't know if you got a good high school story, but the theme is high school. 38, Bye Bye Birdie, 1963, way before my time. Dick Van Dyke dancing around, and Friday Night Lights, 37, one of the greatest football movies of all time. Billy Bob Thornton, who, by the way, is absolutely amazing. Landman. Check out Landman. Okay, this is an interesting movie. I never thought it would be on this list. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Harry Potter was, Hogwarts is a high school or whatever. It's a wizard school, but that was when they were like fresh and teenagers. So, and it's my favorite Harry Potter movie of all time. 35, Brick. I don't know what that is. Got Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Played Robin in The Dark Knight Rises. Get Real, 1998. Ben Silverstone and Charlotte Britton. I've never seen this movie. Hoop Dreams, 1994, number 33. William Gates. Documentary follows William Gates and Arthur Agee, 2 kids who avoid the pitfalls of growing up in Chicago slums by living, breathing, and playing basketball. All right. 32, one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Billy Loomis, Sidney Prescott, Stu Macher, Tatum Wiley, Randy Meeks, The First Scream. We all love it. The Fonz as a principal. I have a good story of setting a 50-cent post on fire when we were like 15. Still feel bad about it. Well, let me tell you something. It's okay. Okay? It happens. We were young, we were dumb, we were stupid. And, I had good times, But yeah, don't set people's houses on fire. And that was like a really cool poster. But it's okay. It's okay. Number 31, Risky Business. Tom Cruise. I didn't even know that was a high school movie. I honestly did not know that was a high school movie. Yeah. I don't even remember what Risky Business was. I know of the movie. I've never seen it. Bring It On, of course, Kirsten Dunst and the cheerleaders. And that, of course, is a great high school movie. I owe you a post. You don't owe me nothing. You've always been kind to me besides burning down my house. I've always appreciated your time and effort and hanging out and, playing basketball and hanging out at Super. Oh, we haven't got Superbad yet. I'm sure Superbad will be on this. What was it? 29. 29 is Gregory Girl. 1981. Never seen it. Back to the Future. That is Back to the Future 28. That is a high school movie. You know, Great Scott, Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox. As a movie, I don't think it belongs that low, but Back to the Future. 27, Just Sir with Love, Sidney Poitier. That's a hell of an actor. 1967. Now we're getting into the Molly Ringwalds, the John Cryers, the Pretty in Pink. 26, 25, Hoosiers. Great basketball movie. Gene Hackman. He did great things. Rushmore. I loved this movie growing up. It's one of those movies where it's like you sit down and watch it. Like, what do you got to do? Nothing for the next 2 hours? You watch Rushmore. Jason Schwartzman, Bill Murray, Coolier High, 1975. A little before my time. But, yeah. Let's see. In mid-1960s, Chicago Geek and Hoop Star struggled to stay out of trouble. Why is there always trouble in Chicago? 22, I think really the greatest high school movie of all time. I don't know why it's ranked this low. American Pie. I mean, Shannon Elizabeth, Jason Biggs. Come on now. I still want to see them do American Reunion. No, American Funeral. I think they need to do that. One more American Pie. I think you can get away with it now. Yeah, we're talking American Pie right now. Number 22. Teen comedy that left its mark. Jam taught us the dangers of webcam misuse, while the guy who became Harold popularized the term MILF. MILF. American Pie is both funnier and, so they're trying to compare American Pie to Porky's. But yeah, American Pie, the 1, the 2, the 3. Reunion was good. Wedding was okay. Grease, 1978, one of the greatest musicals of all time. I still love it. Wap Bada Wap Bamboo. Dead Poets Society, Robin Williams, fantastic. Ethan Hawke. The Last Picture, 1971, a young Jeff Bridges. Rock and Roll High School, 1979. That has a Ramon in it. Looks like Peggy Sue Get Married, another movie I haven't seen. Lucas, 1986. Corey Haim. Remember, who's the Corys? Remember the Corys back in the day? Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. American Pie is definitely more popular than Porky's. One of the greatest horror movies of all time. Carrie, 1976. That spooky bitch. Got bullied and then just massacred everybody. That's number 15. Number 14, Easy A. Emma Stone, kind of the foundation of who Emma Stone became in these movies. High School, 1968. I don't know what that was. Just a movie called High School. I think it's a documentary. Oh, yeah, I did see this. I saw this on Twitter. It was like a documentary of high school in 1968. That's why it's called High School, and it was made in 1968 because it was a documentary. Mean Girls, come on. Who can forget Lindsay Lohan, Rachel McAdams? On Wednesday, where we were... Not Another Teen Movie needs to be on here because Not Another Teen Movie is amazing. That is my favorite. I know that whole ending song, We're getting no matter what, even if we're with 30s. True love is what I want the most. I just offered you a French toast. I can still sing that song. So what if we have the same mother? Tonight I'm gonna, my brother. Yes, you have her eyes, and it's just like a tulip sketch. I love it. Say anything. I'm just here to say damn shit, and that is whack. Damn shit, that is whack. Say Anything, 1989. We all love Say Anything. That's a cute movie. Top 10, though. Top 10, of course. The greatest ditching movie of all time, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. 86, Matthew Broderick. I love it. Cameron, the whole, I know the principal came out to be a pedophile, but I still remember, every time I hear 9, I always say 9 times. I don't know if Ferris called out 9 times. 9 times, Mrs. Bueller. Election, 1999. I don't think this should be up here. Reese Witherspoon. Number 8, 16 Candles. We talked about the Molly Ringwald, foundation in the 80s. Clueless, number 7. A great movie. It's got, Alicia Silverstone in it. And then it's got, what's his name? Is that Paul Rudd? Is he in it? He's young, right? American Graffiti, 1973. Ron Howard, Ron Howard. Happy Days. Heathers, 1989. I've heard of it. Christian Slater, Winona Ryder. Rebel Without a Cause. James Dean, his last movie before passing away, I believe. Number 3, one of my favorite movies of all time. Dazed and Confused. I love it. Matthew McConaughey. It's one thing I love about high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age. All right. Fast Times at Richmond High, 1982. I don't think I've ever sat and watched a whole movie. Now, number 1, greatest high school movie of all time. What can be the greatest high school movie of all time? I don't want to look at number 1. I want Sean and me to think. Number 1, greatest high school movie of all time. Let's see. The winner is, from E! Entertainment Weekly, number 1 is The Breakfast Club. Of course, how can I even forget about The Breakfast Club? Judd Nelson, Amelia Estevez, Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Malcolm, The Breakfast Club, they're all in there. A great movie. I love it, It slipped my mind, but come on, who could forget The Breakfast Club? Definitely number 1, but, that makes total sense. But The Breakfast Club, number 1. And, so I agree. Number 1, Breakfast Club. But I'm going to get off right now because class is over. Recess, it was just fun. We did talk about a lot of wrestling, sports, and high school stuff. High school to me, it was all right. Could have done better. Could have paid more attention. We could have been a contender. But you know what? We all live, we all learn. So, Sean, thank you for hopping in. You're the best. Miss you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and your brother and family are doing good. I hope you keep doing that the bagpipe stuff that I see you doing. I don't know when last time we talked to Idris was. I think about him a lot. Think about Rashif a lot. Think about Jason a lot. High school, dude, we graduated 20 years ago. Absolutely insane. But we're going to do a quick rundown of the show before we go. What do you know? So, SmackDown happened. Raw happened. We got a tournament with Roman Reigns' next challenger will be Penta. I'm looking forward to this. Avery Styles, even though your dad is AJ Styles, you got to pay your dues. Where's my theme song? Hello. This is why I have a budget of $0. MMA was a huge win for Scarlett over Gamrot. UFC 330 coming up. I can't believe we've had 330 UFCs. Absolutely insane. I talked to you just here and there. He's going to reach out to him. He'll be happy to hear from me. Absolutely. I would love to. I plan on to. Because I always liked him, He was always part of the crew. Jacob Mizorowski is doing great. Cy Young Award. Brat Said That fantasy team. First place, 10-9. Las Vegas Raiders, Kirk Cousins and Max Crosby engaged in a tense training camp scuffle. Stop it. I don't need an injured player for the Raiders. We have hope for the first time in 15 years. NBA, James Harden, misdemeanor, whatever. Rest in peace, Don Nelson, the winningest coach, second winningest coach in NBA history. And that's Kanter Freedom, the whole WNBA draft, and you trying to get in it, your Bratwurst Award. And then we talked about the best high school movies with my buddy Sean. So this has been a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of Brat. So make sure you stay in school and go to college, get a degree, because if you don't, you end up on YouTube Live trying to. I hope you do have a bright future, and I hope you have a bright future because I'm gonna get off. Love yourself, love each other, and love sports. And class dismissed. All right, good night, guys.